Last week on ESPN, did we not? Saints-Falcons at the Georgia Dome. Mike, Joe, and Mark on the call. Gentlemen?
Chris, thank you very much. We are at the Georgia Dome with a sellout crowd of 70,000 for a division rivalry between the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons on ESPN's Sunday Night NFL. Once upon a time, Jim Everett was LA's golden boy, but after 8 years, the glitter was gone, and so was he. In New Orleans, Everett has regained the touch, passing for over 3,000 yards and 17 touchdowns. Jeff George was thought to be the savior in Indy, but the marriage never worked. In Atlanta, his talents have flourished with a career-high 21 touchdown passes. The same can be said for teammate Terrence Mathis. Grounded in New York, he soared in Atlanta. Tonight, he zeroes in on the rare mark of 100 receptions. Old faces lighting up new places. Some playing for pride, others for the playoffs on Sunday Night NFL. Records, the Lions and Bears are in the driver's seat for the first 2 wild card spots. The Falcons must win to go 7-7 and into a 5-way tie for the last wild card. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Joe Theismann. It's great to have you with us. This rivalry doesn't get the publicity as some of the others in the NFL, but if you like your football wide open and intense, we have it for you tonight. New Orleans' playoff chances are purely mathematical, but they have played well during the season at times this year, like the first game against Atlanta when they won at 33-32 on a last-second field goal, and Joe, certainly their best offensive showing of the year.
Well, Mike, the reason's quite simple. It was the first time that they really had a chance to show that they had a balanced attack. Rookie running back Mario Bates, for example, rushed for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. And ever since he's become the starter, he's finally put a belief that the Saints can run the football. But the constant has been Jim Everett. Over 3,000 yards passing, 17 touchdown passes. And if you're looking for a guy to vote for Comeback Player of the Year, Jim Everett is the guy. Gone from New Orleans is that great defense. Yep. Now, if they're going to beat the Falcons tonight, the responsibility rests on the shoulders of Mario Bates and Jim Everett.
And something the Falcons certainly can't afford. June Jones is on record as saying they have to win their last 3 to get in the playoffs. June made a lot of personnel changes on the club this year, most importantly on offense.
Well, and he's gotten some great production out of those offensive players. The scary thing is they're just starting to understand that run and shoot. I mean, here's a guy that's gone out and added one very important person, June Jones. He's going to be the key to their, Jeff George. He's going to be the key to their playoff opportunities. He posted career numbers in this run and shoot. Remember, it's only his first year in this particular offense. He's gone out and done some things in the first couple weeks of the season, early part of the season. Now he's got an opportunity to do it tonight and for the latter part of the season. And that's the only chance that the Falcons have to get into the playoffs.
And, of course, protecting the quarterback is the essential requirement of having a good offense. And for more on that, let's go down to the field and Mark Malone.
Well, thanks, Mike. When you ask coaches around the league which is the most difficult position for a young player to either start or contribute early in his career, almost to a man, they'll tell you offensive tackle. So tonight on our Sunday Night Spotlight, we'll focus in on one of the league's great young players at that position, the Saints left tackle Willie Roaf. Last year as a rookie, he started all 16 games on the right side. Now he's moved to the left side, yet in 28 career starts, he's only given up 4 quarterback sacks. Our Spotlight camera will break down his techniques. I'll bring you video reports throughout the program, and you can only see it right here on our Sunday Night Spotlight. Mike?
All right, thank you, Mark. There's Jim Mora, the most successful coach in Saints history, and part of that success has come at the expense of the Falcons here in Atlanta, where he is 7-1. June Jones, in his rookie year as an NFL head coach, he built his reputation as an offensive guru and a true believer in the run and shoot. The Falcons will kick off. That's rookie Scott Tyner out of Oklahoma State, cooking to Tyrone Hughes. Last year, the Pro Bowl return man who is having another outstanding year. He brought 2 back for touchdowns this season. And we are underway with 70,000 in the Georgia Dome. Hughes from the goal line. Falcons covered well just past the 20-yard line. Take a look at the Saints offense. Jim Everett has been everything they wanted at quarterback. He's gone over 3,000 yards, is completing almost 2/3 of his passes. Michael Haynes, the former Falcon, leads the Saints with 62 catches, has a good shot at a 1,000-yard season. And in only his second year, William Roaf has already established as one of the game's best left tackles, especially as a pass blocker. Chris Dolman. He was the big trade acquisition for this club, lining up at right defensive end. And they'll go on the ground with the fullback, Lorenzo Neal, with the first carry. Falcons on defense. Chuck Smith leads them with 10 sacks, the first Falcon in double figures in sacks since 1981. Jesse Tuggle seems to be in on every tackle. #1 on the team, 164 stops. He's averaged 10.6 a game for his career. And Steeler free agent DJ Johnson has become the leader in the secondary. He's tied for 3rd in the NFC with 5 interceptions. And Jesse Tuggle is the player who was hurt on the last play. Tuggle to average 10.6 tackles a game is really a remarkable statistic. There will be linebackers in this league that will play for a long time and not have 10 tackles in a game the entire year. He is just so active, and the Falcons, on the verge of being in the playoff hunt, can ill afford to lose him. Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator, who was under some fire here earlier this year as the Falcons went with what they called a 4-2-5 defense, a big nickel. And Dolman, for one, was very unhappy with the situation because he was forced to play inside on the defensive line, had far more run responsibility than he ever had, and didn't get the sacks by coming upfield all the time. Well, they've gone back to the standard 4-3. Dolman is a happier player, but not happy altogether. Dwayne Gordon, number 53, has checked in as a linebacker for Tuggle. Mario Bates with his first carry. Slams into the middle, and the pile is pushed forward out to about the 27.
Mike, ever since Mario Bates has gotten into the lineup, ever since Mario Bates has gotten himself back into the lineup after the broken jaw, he has really given them a legitimate running game, which has allowed Jim Everett to sit comfortably in the pocket and pick and choose when he wants to throw, as opposed to having to throw in long yardage situations all the time.
When you asked Jim Mora, how long has it been since you had a guy that you had this much confidence in the running game? It took him a while to come up with an answer. Torrance Small checks in as a 3rd wide receiver. He's been great in the last 3 games. And Everett looked his way and couldn't find him. Knocked away by Anthony Phillips, the rookie out of Texas A&M at Kingsville.
And there was a case where Pierce Holt managed to get pressure and just didn't allow Everett to step inside. But here you see the coverage outside. They know they like the crossing patterns. Phillips does a good job of anticipating where Haynes is going to go and gets there before he does.
So 3 and out for the Saints, and Tommy Barnhart, who is 4th in the conference with a 43.2-yard average, kicking to Clarence Verdun. Verdun at the 28. Losing ground and goes down at the 23. Nice punt by Barnhart, 44 yards and a loss of 5 on the return. Jeff George making his first year in Atlanta a career season, over 3,000 yards for the first time, number 4 in the NFL with 21 touchdowns. The Jets, Terrence Mathis never caught more than 24 passes in a year. Tonight he could hit 100 for the Falcons this season. And Mike Ken, in his 17th and final NFL year, has played in 248 games. Only 6 men in the history of the game have played more. Craig Heyward, the single setback. And George to throw on first down. Wants the screen. Does to Heyward. The Saints defense did beautifully. Darian Connor got the first hit to break it up. New Orleans will go with a dime defense against the run and shoot. Linebacker Darian Connor, the leader in sacks, moves to defensive end. Leading tackler Sam Mills, now over 100 for the 5th time in his career, is the only linebacker. And Vinnie Clark will be one of 6 defensive backs. He started the first 11 games of the year for Atlanta before he was cut. Darian Connor, and he wants to have a big game tonight. Heyward. They string the play out, and Sam Mills makes the tackle as he crosses the 25. That will be the matchup to watch, because it's Mills and Heyward basically one-on-one when you go in the run and shoot.
Sam Mills' responsibility as the only linebacker left on the field is really the guy that's going to have to shut down Heyward and the running game. He's responsible for filling the gaps. The defensive linemen cannot commit to come up the field too far, because if they do, they create natural running lanes for the running backs.
Falcons on their opening drive have been outstanding, and I think one of the reasons for that, you don't see the run and shoot that often. It takes a little bit of time to adjust to it. George airs it out in a hurry to the sideline. Is it complete? It is. At the 35-yard line, Andre Rison makes his first catch.
This is unbelievable from 2 respects. Number 1, the communication between Andre Rison and Jeff George. Andre Rison is your far outside receiver. That's good coverage by Vinnie Clark. But this is a stop pattern. Andre will push it up the field to a certain point. Jeff will throw it his right inside shoulder. He has to stop and make the play. Great reception.
Catch number 66 on the year for Andre Rison. George with a short set. Emmanuel couldn't hold it. Nice defense by Jimmy Spencer. Got the left hand in there and tore it away from Emmanuel.
Well, you basically got a 3-year veteran in Jimmy Spencer going up against a rookie, Bert Emmanuel, who, as you see him come in from the right side, was a converted quarterback at Rice. That ball gets tipped at the line a little bit. That causes it to go a little bit behind him. But Bert Emmanuel's just learning how to be a wide receiver.
And a terrific option quarterback at Rice. But they feel he has the potential to be a star wide receiver in the NFL. Long signal count from George. Draw to Heyward. Big hole up the middle. Heyward rumbling over people to the 44-yard line, about 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
There's a story in itself. Ironhead Heyward, let go obviously by the Saints, was let go in Chicago, didn't think he could play anymore. Shows how quick he is as Darian Connor comes up outside. That's what happens when you lose those lanes. You try and get outside. A guy like Heyward can find it, and he's gotten down to 265, Mike. Finished up the end of the season last year at 306. Really made a commitment to come back and want to play football.
Got over his problems with alcohol last January 1st. He's been a different person since then. George under some pressure. Unloads. Rison can't get there. Good coverage by Vinnie Clark. It was interesting in New Orleans. Craig Heyward said he really hated Jim Mora. The reason? Mora wouldn't take any bull. Jim Mora knew exactly what Craig Heyward was doing. And Heyward said, once I got over the alcohol problems and figured that out, I developed a new respect for Jim Mora. And Jim Mora has a lot of respect for what Craig Heyward has been able to do. Harold Alexander will come on to punt. Tyrone Hughes goes back to the 15-yard line. Beautiful kick. Hughes trying to make the fair catch. The ball goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. And now they'll mark it at the 11. A punt of 45, no return. Scoreless first quarter.
Hurry into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest today and take home 2 great videos. The baseball classic, Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. And get the time travel adventure, Back to the Future. This is it. Each video is just $5.99 when you buy any extra value meal or large sandwich. So dash into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest now and get these family favorites for the favorites in your family.
McDonald's today.
Gillette introduces the next revolution in shaving closeness. Microfins. And they're only on the new Sensor XL. These microfins precede the blades. As Sensor XL's spring-mounted blades adjust to your face, these soft, flexible fins gently stretch your skin, so your beard stands up for the closest, most comfortable shave. Get closer than ever before. Get the new Gillette Sensor XL.
My advice to you is get a Prelude.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by American Honda, who has been making quality automobiles in America for the past 12 years. By Gillette Sensor XL with microfins that set up your beard for the world's best shave. And by Russell Athletic. For really tough athletic wear that can survive anything, get Russell Athletic. Get tough.
Each team has had the ball once and hasn't been able to move it against the other. The Saints take over now just shy of their own 17-yard line. They'll go with Irv Smith and Wesley Walls in a 2 tight end set. Jesse Tuggle for the Falcons back out there on defense. Everett to throw. Short set in the flat, complete. And Haynes will pick up a few.
That's such a good way to go for Jim Everett. I mean, to go out quick, you know Michael Haynes has got a lot of speed, so you go out in front of him. But Jim really is starting to get comfortable in New Orleans. He's absolutely thrilled to be there. Said he and Michael came in at the same time. Now they're starting to learn one another. Jim's starting to learn Quinn early. He's really starting to take charge and be the man in the middle of that Saint offense.
Everett sends everybody out on the pattern and throws too high, intended again for Haynes, covered by D.J. Johnson.
You know, besides Michael Haynes coming in, Jim Everett just feels so good because of the support that he's gotten from everybody on the football team. You know, the job that William Roaf has done and Ulenik and Dombrowski. I mean, a unit has to feel comfortable, but the quarterback's got to be the most comfortable, and he is. I'll tell you a little story about his number 17 in a second.
Jim Mora loves him, too. He loved him before he had him, and now he's more thrilled since he's gotten him in New Orleans. 3rd and 5. Everett with a double pump and off the fingertips of Quinn Early. A catchable pass and would have been a first down.
You won't see that happen very early to Quinn Early, but I'll tell you, Jim Everett wears the number 17 for one simple reason. He knew that he was going to be a New Orleans Saint on March 17th, and he said, what better day, St. Pat's Day, to really make a change in your life. So he decided, I want number 17. That's how he wound up with it.
And that's a number selection process I never heard before. Barnhart to kick to Verdand. Nice high floater. And Verdand signals fair catch. Makes it at the 39-yard line. Been a good punting battle so far. That was 44 off the foot of Tommy Barnhart.
Twin Cities Toyota is the only Toyota dealer fighting rising interest rates.
There's only one Golden Rule Auto.
right now. Buy any new Toyota at Twin Cities Toyota and receive financing as low as 6.9% for as long as 60 months. The Fed's raising interest rates. We're dropping the rates. 6.9% financing only at Twin Cities Toyota.
There's only one Golden Rule Auto Mall.
We now join sports talkers already in progress.
So, Dusty, in all your years of coaching, what was your greatest disappointment?
My greatest disappointment? Well, that had to have been when I ordered the post-game pizza from one of those national chains. I thought the boys were going to have my hide for that one, I tell you.
Well, if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
That's easy, Wayne. We order from Chicago Connection now. Boise-owned, great pizza, great price.
That must have led to your famous quote, "It ain't over
till the pizza's gone."
Chicago Connection, a better pizza.
Smith's Home Furnishings and Mitsubishi present the most brilliant visual experience on a scale never seen before. The world's only 40-inch big tube television. But something even larger is on the horizon. Buy any Mitsubishi big tube, big screen, or VCR and pay no money down, no interest, and no payments till the year after next for the Mitsubishi experience today. At all Smith's Home Furnishings, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho.
9:35 to go first quarter. Scoreless, Saints and the Falcons at the Georgia Dome. There's a young man who has just had an incredible year. 97 catches so far. He needs 14 to catch Chris Carter, who is leading the NFL with 111, only one behind Sterling Sharp's record of last year, 112. He is also number 3 in yards receiving. He would need to catch 144 tonight to catch Jerry Rice, but he's capable of it. Straight back, the quick shot dropped by Rison at midfield.
You know, all that was, Mike, was a question of Andre just taking his eye off the ball. He thought he had it, he looked up, and he lost sight of it. Watch his head on this. It's 3 steps. Now, he thinks he's got it. See how he looks away at the last second? He thinks he has it because Jeff George gets it there so quickly, so he doesn't totally concentrate, just sneaks away from it.
In his first 5 years in the league, Rison caught more passes than anybody ever had in 5 years. And they want to feature him again tonight. Moving along the line. And both teams pointing at each other. Zandowski may have moved. He's the right guard, and now the officials will huddle up.
This is one of those who did what to whom meetings. When, that's right.
Full start prior to the snap, 72 offense, 5 yards, still second down.
Zandowski, the guilty party, and that will cost the Falcons 5 yards.
You know something, Mike? This is one of the rare offenses, and the way June Jones calls plays, 2nd and 5 is really no different than 1st and 10 for them. I mean, they're going to wind up throwing the ball probably 8 to 10 yards down the field to try and get into 3rd and shorter.
Falcons, of course, one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. Draw play, Ironhead. He's a load across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Wayne Martin being dragged with him and got some help from Joe Johnson.
One of the keys to the offense for the Atlanta Falcons is to spread the defense out. Look at the lanes here that he has to run through. They create these huge gaps. And look at the way the Saints defense has to be deployed. Everybody gets ahead on a man, and it's just up to Ironhead to pick out where he wants to go.
Ironhead has gone over the 600-yard mark. That's a career high for him, but more importantly, he is 3rd in the NFC, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. Another benefit of the run and shoot. George under pressure. Throws on the run, complete to Emmanuel. He's got the first down and crawls to the Saints 45.
You know, Mike, I was talking to Jim Mora Jr., the defensive backfield coach, and he said Jeff George is so dangerous when he breaks contain. That's something we really have to concentrate on. He's back in the pocket. Then he breaks outside to the right. Good job on the right side by Whitfield. And then he can throw across his body just quick as a wisp. Darian Connor trying to come up the field. creates the big lane for Jeff to step into.
Bob Whitfield just rode him out of there. George again on the quick set, tries to get a manual, and Jimmy Spencer was right there with some excellent coverage.
Defending on the play, number 37, Jimmy
Jeff George
Spencer.
is the perfect quarterback for the run and shoot. The reason why is because his ability to unload the football with such a quick release, but also he is one of the few quarterbacks in the league that doesn't have to have his feet underneath him to make the perfect throw. He actually does strong arm the ball down the field.
Facing a 2nd and 10 just inside the Saints 45. Saints come with 4. George can't find anybody. Now does, and just past the diving Ricky Sanders.
You know, it's almost like you hold your breath. When he's throwing the football, you're standing there going, oh.
You know, one of the reasons people got down on the run and shoot is in Houston they didn't have any speed. Here they have speed.
And they also have some pretty darn good blocking. Whitfield does a great job on Darian Connor, but then Zandowski comes along just to make sure. If they're only going to rush 4 guys, the offensive linemen are going to be able to protect.
And this is a pretty good offensive line, too. Third and 10, scoreless first quarter. 4-man rush. Under pressure, George with a man hanging on it, throws sideline. Risen got belted for his trouble. Vince Buck came over from the safety spot and just drilled it. And that could have brought a flag because that ball was way over his head.
Very easily caught him.
Here's how it sounded on the field. Listen to this.
Thud. That's what that was.
That was Andre Rison disappearing.
That's when he was trying. That's when he got the wind knocked out of him on that particular play.
And on 4th and 10, they send in the punter, Alexander. Will try to pooch it deep for Hughes. First time he did a great job, put it out of bounds. Got a little more of this one. Got to get the corner, and it doesn't. It's a punt of 44, but the net is only 20. And New Orleans will have it when we come back.
That wasn't so bad.
Well, I wouldn't congratulate yourself quite yet.
I see.
Joe Theismann, Mark Malone with you from the Georgia Dome, where we have 70,000 on hand tonight as the Saints try to move into a 5-way tie for the last playoff spot at 7-7. Excuse me, the Falcons. The Saints would like to go to 6-8, still mathematically alive. Mario Bates. Clay Matthews strung it out, and Bates dives forward for a couple of yards.
Mario Bates runs in different places and enjoys some success in the process. There's his rush chart. The one thing I want you to look at, this is compared to the rest of the team, but right there, 5.6 yards to the right, 4.2 to the left. He gives them outside speed. And remember, a lot of those plays are where they wind up, not necessarily where they start. But he's given them just a lot more range to go and places to go running the football.
And a stark contrast with the averages of other running backs this team has had. Derek Brown, number 21, is in the ball game. He's the single setback. He'll get it on the draw. Brown dives across the 30, should have the first down.
Number 21, Derek Brown.
Darnell Walker made the tackle.
Good job on the right side by number 70, Chris Port. Number 71, Richard Cooper.
Anthony Phillips.
Number 72, the left guard's going to pull, go over that way, kick it out, and create the running lane. Get those big guys moving. Turns up the hole, does a nice job. All you have to do is follow the big people.
And Cooper, who helped out on one block and then threw another himself, is the man who is down. He had started 49 straight games, the most on the offensive line. Played at left tackle in '93 before William Roaf came, and has been moved to right tackle. came into the game with a thigh injury. We'll check on him when we come back. 6:37 to go, first quarter. 0-0. We are scoreless in the first quarter. William Roaf in our Sunday night spotlight. Let's check in with Mark Malone. Mark?
Thanks, Mike. Of course, William Roaf is 310 pounds, but one of his greatest attributes is his feet. He's got great quick feet, and he used them to his advantage in the first couple of drives against Chris Dolman. Take a look at this and watch his feet. Dolman beats him outside on the run. Roaf stays with him and runs him out of the play. Then on the pass, Dolman, a cagey vet, beats him inside, and Roaf recovers again. And, of course, against the run, this guy is a road grader. He gets on Dolman, pushes him out of the play for 5 yards. Mario Bates picks up there. So far, William Roaf is having his way against Chris Dolman. Take a look at these stats so far. The Saints have snapped 8 plays so far. They've run the ball 3 times for 11 yards. 2 of those have been behind Roaf for 8 yards. He hasn't gotten any help, and I should make the mention, Mike, that so far this season, the Saints have run the ball for almost twice as many yards to the left as they had to the right. That tells you what kind of a job William Roaf is doing. Mike?
All right, Mark, you said he had quick feet, too. He's got huge feet. What did he say, size 17?
Yeah, I also want to mention, you'll notice it said 1 pancake. That's what he had in the pregame meal. We've also charted those, too. They could continue to go up as the night goes.
Cooper being assisted off the field on the cart. And we will get a medical report on him as soon as possible. 5-year veteran out of Tennessee. And Willie Williams, number 65, will replace him. .636 to go. First quarter, clock running. 0-0. First and 10 for the Saints. Derek Brown remains in as the single setback. They go with 3 wide. And Brown gets the carry. Nice hole up the middle. Dives forward to the 39-yard line. Couple shy of the first down. Clay Matthews was in on the tackle.
If you're going to run, you're probably going to run left. Watch these 2 guys right here push it out. The back's going to come in right behind them. Rolf and Dombrowski, they take a good little slide step. Everybody gets on a body, and he winds up picking up yards. Derek Brown does a good job of staying right close to his big people.
Second, called a long yard. Bates. Hit before he got back to the line of scrimmage and smothered. He'll lose a yard. Jesse Tuggle just came roaring up and plugged the hole.
Now, Mike, that's a great job by Jesse Tuggle, but you got to give the defensive lineman like Pierce Holt up front some credit, because watch this. He's going to be unblocked. He does a great job of hiding behind his defensive lineman so that the offensive lineman can't get to him. And then as the hole is created, he sneaks over and attacks.
The medical report on Richard Cooper is not good. He has a dislocated elbow. He will not be back in this game. So Willie Williams will settle in at right tackle. Pressure on Everett, unloads, has the first down. Torrance Small down the sideline to the 41. Torrance Small in the last 3 games, 15 catches, 152 yards. That one went for 19.
The Falcons decide to go after Everett a little bit, which means everybody's one-on-one. Good little 3 steps and then fire. Nobody has a chance to get them. Watch out to the left. Good quick 7-yard route. Let Torrance Small catch the ball so he's not too close to the sidelines, and makes the play.
3-year wide receiver out of Alcorn State. And the Saints go back to the ground with Bates. Has his legs cut out from under him by Tuggle at the 39. When you watch Tuggle play, you can see why he wraps up such incredible statistics every year.
Well, you know what else he does very well is he's a heck of a tackler. Does a good job of reading flow, but then he comes right back in to where the ball carrier is. Mario Bates tries to cut back. He slides in.
It's very difficult to make the Pro Bowl when you're playing on a team that's been losing a lot of ball games. Finally got his due in 1992. Here comes the blitz. Everett unloads in a hurry and incomplete. Would have been almost good enough for a first down. Quinn Early couldn't hold it. DJ Johnson on the coverage again.
That time they decided to go after Everett again. Didn't quite hook up. You get a quarterback thinking that people are coming after him, it affects you and makes you speed everything up a little bit. So if they don't come after you, it disrupts the timing with the receivers. They're playing head games with Jim right now.
They'll go with 3 wides on 3rd and 7. And Derek Brown is the setback. Four-man rush. Everett with time to Small. Torrance Small to the 19-yard line. Finally dropped by Darnell Walker, who hit him from behind. A gain at 21.
That time they decided not to go after Jim. But a good job by this offensive line. You'll notice they give only so much ground, and then they make you work. But what a good job off the line by Small. Darnell Walker's absolutely lost. He had no chance trying to stop Small come off the line of scrimmage.
And Darnell Walker starting at the corner because Vinnie Clark was released. That had been his spot. Bates with Neal in front. Got his legs ripped out from under him. Scott Case came up. One of the most popular Falcons ever.
One of the things that Jim Everett mentioned to us in our meeting yesterday, Mike, he said, we want to test number 45. He's going to be a guy we want to work on a little bit. Let's see what we can do with him. If we have success, like anything else, I think you can look for Darnell Walker to be a busy guy tonight.
That's when you know the other players haven't seen you too much. They just call you 45.
Yeah, they give you numbers. They don't give you names.
2nd and 7 for New Orleans. Bates on the draw. Up to about the 13-yard line. Matthews was in there, so was Tuggle.
I talked to Kevin Ross of the Falcons earlier this week, and you see what, the Saints have done inside the 20. They've been pretty darn efficient, really, 4th in the NFL. But talking to Kevin Ross, in the first game, the problem they had is they didn't know how good Bates was. So they said, we didn't really, we thought he'd be pretty good. We thought they'd pass. He ran all over us. They're paying attention to him in this game.
You don't say a secret too long in this league.
No.
3rd and 4. The crowd cheers for the defense. And the crowd noise caused that one. The center, Jeff Ulenek, held on to the ball, and everybody else got an early start.
Start prior to the snap. 72 offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Jumpy Gathers number 97 checks in, and that's Dombrowski. You'd think being the left guard wouldn't have had too much trouble hearing the snap count, but Everett wasn't a shotgun.
That's right. He's not standing next to him like he normally would be.
So the penalty makes it 3rd and 9. Keep an eye on number 97 on the defensive line for Atlanta. Jumpy Gathers, pound for pound, maybe the strongest guy that ever lived. And a sack coming from the outside. Chuck Smith gets his 11th of the year. What a season he's had.
Chucky Smith. On the left side, you'll see him. Number 90 does a great job of going around Willie Williams. He just takes the hard outside and flies.
And Williams in there because Cooper was hurt.
Of course, had an interception last week against the 49ers for a touchdown. One of the few highlights in that game for the Atlanta Falcons.
Morton Anderson from 45. He's killed a lot of people, but he specializes in killing the Atlanta Falcons. And the first points are on the board with 46 seconds to go in the quarter as Morton Anderson knocks through a 45-yarder. Hope you join us Thursday at 7:30. A great special for you, the Pro Bowl Selection Show. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann exclusively announced the Pro Bowl team for both the AFC and the NFC. You get highlights, analysis, and interviews for this year's Pro Bowlers. That's Thursday, 7:30 Eastern for the Pro Bowl Selection Show. Boy, there's some tough choices this year.
There's some tough choices. So when you look at the records of these two teams as an example, the Saints at 5 and 8, the Falcons at 6 and 7, you'd say, well, you wouldn't expect many guys to go to the Pro Bowl, but you got Andre Rison, Pro Bowler, Tyrone Hughes, Pro Bowler, Sam Mills, maybe not going to make it this year, but certainly has been a Pro Bowler. Willie Roaf, one of the new guys who should go.
How about Terrence Mathis?
And how about Chucky Smith, 11 sacks? I mean, you got some guys. Terrence Mathis is one that really should make it. 97 catches.
Right now, coming into this game, he is third in the NFL in catches, third in the NFL in yards. And if he just has a fair to middling game for himself and move up to second in both those categories, that certainly deserves some Pro Bowl attention.
And the 10 TDs, I think, really speaks for itself. There are some perennials, like a Michael Irvin, for example. He's a great receiver. But if you're going to vote for a guy in a particular year, I think Terrence Mathis is one that you've got to give a tremendous amount of consideration to.
Absolutely. Anderson to kick off. Clarence for Dan. Eric Pegram are deep to receive. Pegram, the great rusher from a year ago. Verdan from the 1. Has a seam, but couldn't get past the 26-yard line. Here is the dilemma for the Pro Bowl voters at wide receiver in the NFC. These were the 4 guys that made it a year ago. Certainly can't argue with the numbers that they had. These are the numbers they have this year. And you really wouldn't be complaining if they didn't make it. But there are some other guys who have racked up remarkable numbers, like Carter, now with 111 catches, and the Mathis we talked about. The year Henry Ellard has had with the Washington Redskins, 1,256 yards. That deserves to have a star next to it.
And Herman Moore is the passing attack for the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely. So good luck. I'll be watching you Thursday night. Saints go with Heyward. He pounds it out to the 32-yard line.
That is the first time in 5 series that the Atlanta Falcons have run the ball on 1st and 10. They have to do that a lot more to open up their passing game.
Of course, with the run and shoot, they are #1 in the NFL throwing the ball on 1st down, as you might expect. And they will not get off another play. So what was billed as a wide-open shootout, remember, it was 33-32 in the first meeting, ends quietly in the first quarter with the Saints on top of the Atlanta Falcons 3-0. Rison suspended for 1 game by the Falcons for being late to a series of team meetings. You had some very tough things to say about Andre Rison. You had a chance to talk to him this week.
I did have some tough things. I felt like the things he did were not very indicative of a guy who has a lot of class, a guy who wants to help his teammates win. I expressed that. And he took exception to it. We talked about it. And, I mean, I will say that Andre Rison was definitely wrong testing the waters, but I also think that the organization, the Atlanta Falcons, cannot absolve themselves for letting him be late 19 times.
2nd and 4. George back to throw. Hits Rison. Trying to pick up more yardage. Gets to midfield. Sean Lumpkin and Vince Buck taken down.
Great catch by Andre Rison. Ken Herrock, the GM of the Falcons, and I talked a little bit, and he said, you know something? We probably did let it go a little bit too far. I mean, 19 times is something that happened, but it hasn't just been the one time. It happened over a 5-year period. I'll guarantee you this. I don't think he's ever going to be late for another meeting in any uniform again.
Ken Herrock, a 2-way All-American at West Virginia during his collegiate playing day. Heyward. Battering ram through for about 3. We talked about that conversation. Here is Andre Rison's response to Joe's earlier criticism.
I can understand the statement about, well, he let his teammates down. Okay. Well, he was selfish. Okay, I can understand that. But when you say he's classless, you don't know me well as a person to say that I'm classless. And you kind of like got the other people that know I'm not even close to that. You know, and they didn't receive it well. They didn't receive it well, but I just took it as another punch and moved on.
More on that in just a second. It's 2nd and 6 here. Heyward on the delay. Sam Mills waiting for him, and Heyward just pays him and gets down to the 41, about a yard shy of the 1st down. Back to Andre Rison. You still stand by what you said.
I stand by the fact that this kid's one of the greatest receivers in the game of football. As a matter of fact, Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, said that he and Jerry Rice, best athletes as wide receivers in this league. I think that the situation has happened. It's by him. It's over and done with. He's learned from it. I spoke my piece. Now we both go on. He plays football. I talk about it.
You played your share. 3rd and a yard. And George to throw. Can't find anybody on the first look, then goes over the middle. Complete to Ricky Sanders, the former Redskin, first down at the 36.
Only problem I have with the run and shoot philosophy to an extent, on 3rd and 1, you'd like to have at least some big bodies you can bring in and pound it out. A lot of things bad can happen when you throw the football all the time on 3rd and short.
You've already got Heyward in there. How much bigger do you want?
Well, oddly enough, you could use him as a lead blocker and maybe bring in somebody else behind him. I think that's the only thing in June's offense that I have a little bit of a question about.
Here comes the blitz. George unloads. Got it to Sanders. And Sanders dives to the 32-yard line. If you talk to proponents of the run and shoot, like June Jones, Mouse Davis, other people who have championed this offense throughout the years, they're almost like revivalists. You come out of a meeting saying, let's go get a football team and install this sucker and go get him.
I'm going to tell you, Mike, I don't care what kind of offense you run, whether you run June Jones and Mouse Davis's run and shoot, or you run the West Coast offense, you're not going to be successful unless and until you get the personnel to run it. They're starting to get it now here in Atlanta.
And you have to play defense. Hayward, straight up the middle, gaping hole. Like a runaway bus when he gets past the linebackers. Sean Lumpkin and Tyrone Leggett with the unenviable task of stepping up to make the tackle.
Ironhead just does a great job of hitting the hole. I mean, he's at 265. Watch his quickness. Here's the shot from our goalpost cam. Does a nice job of sliding off the right side of the right guard. And, you know, I mean, you can't ask any more than 12 yards down the field.
7 carries, 50 yards in the first half for Ironhead. Pig Goff, number 91, checks in on the defensive line. George with time over the middle. Sanders. Great tackle by Spencer at the 10.
Mike, can you tell we're doing a football game? Pig Goff, Ironhead Heyward. Where else would you hear names like that if it wasn't in a good football game? Jeff George just being nice and patient, taking the underneath patterns at this point.
And just broke Steve Bartkowski's single-season record for completion.
Oh, the records are just starting to fall here.
Aren't they?
He's going to own a lot of records before this is over.
2nd and 2 for the Falcons. Trips right. Ironhead. First down and more. Look at the big man go. Touchdown. What a great individual effort. The late signal by the line judge on the far side, but he just dragged people with him.
I want you to see where people are hanging on to him, and he's doing it all by himself. Nice patience. Great job of setting up Mike Kent on the block. This buck hits him at the 5-yard line. And remember, all that has to happen is that ball cross the line. There it is. Unbelievable individual run.
5 carries, 39 yards on the drive, 59 yards rushing in the first half for Craig Heyward. The reliable Norm Johnson for the point after. Perfect. And Craig Heyward, the 7-year vet, gets his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Here's a great gift idea for Christmas. The new Black & Decker cordless screwdriver. You may actually get some things done around the house. Now with a detachable Versapad battery from Black & Decker.
long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going.
Oh, no.
Insatiable.
Please, no.
Stereo?
Why do they have to do that? That drives me to... No, thank you.
Hurricane.
Want a gift for her that doesn't smell? Try Radio Shack. We asked women from coast to coast what they thought was surprising, unusual, fun to get, so we can tell you. Just stop by your local Radio Shack.
Inferno.
So, Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
You jerk. I never want to see you again. Oh!
Savan, soft 100% cotton pants. They're the only pants made with Process 2000, so they don't wrinkle, which means you'll always come off looking good, no matter what you've done.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Savan, 100% cotton, no wrinkle clothing. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. And by Energizer batteries, still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
The Atlanta Falcons have taken the lead over the New Orleans Saints, 7-3, 9:55 to go first half. Norm Johnson to kick. Tyrone Hughes waits at the goal line. Excuse me, that's Scott Tyner handling the kickoff duties tonight. He gets a pretty good one. Hughes from the 6. Eric Jack. Huge hit at the 21. Let's go back to the touchdown, but maybe not, Joe.
Well, it's on the board, so it is, but I agree with you, Mike. Watch where Ironhead's knee is. I'm going to show you where his knee is. I'm going to show you where the ball is, okay? His knee is down right there. There's the football. There's the goal line. He did not get in, and the official on his left actually did mark it short. The one on the right overruled it. Doesn't matter. The Falcons have 7 on the board.
Saints take over at their own 22. Bates the running back. Everett on the post. And breaking away. Haynes is gone. 78-yard touchdown.
Scott Case and Darnell Walker collided. Everett said, listen, we're going after number 45. Folks, I don't think it's a mystery anymore who number 45 is. It's Darnell Walker. He's up in close coverage. Michael Haynes does a good job, makes the catch. Now Scott Case comes in and actually knocks Walker off, and nobody's going to catch Michael Haynes. Great throw by Jim Everett. Look at the seam. That's a nice throw. We call those skinny posts, Mike. They're not the deep posts. They're the skinny posts.
The longest touchdown pass of the season for both Everett and Haynes. Anderson for the point after, and he's got it. So after all that work to get the lead, the Saints strike in a hurry and get it right back.
Don't let a cranky car give you a case of the blues this holiday season. Come see Santa Dan and the friendly little Weebold elves and wrap up your best deal on a new sled. Now, next to having a team of reindeer, front-wheel drive is the way to go this winter, like a factory-fresh 95 Taurus with 2.9% financing or $750 cash back. Load up on presents with an exciting new Windstar van, and you'll find incredible closeout savings on the remaining 94s. So go shop, but don't drop any money on a new car till you check out the holiday sale at Dan Weebold Ford in Nampa.
Hi, lady. I'm a pirate, and I'm searching for sunken treasure. The new scratch game from the Idaho Lottery. This is stupid.
You can win up to $10,000. Get me out of here.
Someone wanted to get me out of here? Forget it. No.
Play Sunken Treasure. 3 in a row wins instantly.
Win $10,000 playing Sunken Treasure.
Once a year, end of the year, all-out truck closeout on now at Roundtree Automotive. Get the absolute best prices of the year on Idaho's best selection of full-size 94 Chevy trucks. Over 120 to choose from, plus a huge selection of 94 Isuzu Troopers and Rodeos, all drastically discounted. No reasonable offers refused. It only happens once a year, and it's on right now. The all-out truck closeout. Top-of-the-line service, bottom-line prices. That's the Roundtree guarantee. Roundtree Chevrolet Geo Isuzu, downtown Boise and west in Meridian.
Jim Everett with his 18th touchdown pass of the year. He is a very happy man, not only tonight, but all year long for being in New Orleans. He felt his career has had a rebirth. And Darnell Walker was right there, but his teammate Scott Case came over and erased him, trying to help out.
Well, Darnell was trying to make a play on the ball. Michael Haynes is bigger than he is. I think that you have to take into consideration size in playing that. Michael's a big guy. Darnell not necessarily that big. If he makes the play, Haynes makes the catch, Walker's just going to have to try and tackle. Don't necessarily try and knock the ball out. That ought to be his moto operandi for the rest of the evening.
10-7, Saints with a 3-point lead. 9:33 to go first half. Clarence Ferdan, 8th in the conference in kickoff returns, always among the leaders. And Anderson crushes one. Ferdan from just outside the goal line. Gets a good block. Vinnie Clark drags him down, but not before it crosses the 40-yard line. Nice return. Clarence Ferdan, 41 yards. Noon Sunday, our start time Eastern time for NFL Game Day. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, Joe Theismann, and Phil Simms providing the best pregame show in the NFL. Then at 7, prime time, all the highlights of all the games. At 8 o'clock, Joe and I and Mark will be at the Kingdome for the Raiders and the Seahawks. The Raiders now in pretty good shape after their performance today. We'll get a chance to see their 1,000-yard receiver Tim Brown and Cortez Kennedy for the Seahawks. They also won today. The blitz against George. He gets it out to Sanders. And Ricky has had a big first half, near a first down in Saints territory.
I don't think you can do one particular thing against the Atlanta Falcon offense and Jeff George, and that is try and blitz him. He gets the ball out too quick, and in every route with the 4 receivers, somebody is going to the flat or somebody's going to the quick post. So he's always got a hot man to go to. It just doesn't make any sense. You do it as a changeup, and that's about it.
Ricky Sanders already with 4 catches for 28 yards. And they will measure for the first down. Bring the sticks in from the near side all the way across the field.
Interesting, Mike. When Jeff George got here to Atlanta, he joined a team that had personalities. He wasn't the focal point like he was in Indianapolis. And he said it felt great to have a little bit of that scrutiny and that pressure taken off him. And he could relax and learn to become a part of the team instead of the one that everybody focused on a team.
Well, he had been under the microscope since his days as a high school star in Indiana. The updated stats through this portion of a quarter and a half, pretty even. The Saints with the lead of 148 to 128 and a lead on the scoreboard of 10-7.
And oddly enough, although the Saints have 113 yards passing, almost double the Falcons, there are no catches for Terrence Mathis, but yet the Falcons are a balanced offense.
And Heyward is the reason. Another big hole up the middle. Vince Buck had to make the tackle, but Heyward to the 41-yard line.
Number 65, Roman Fortin. There he is right there. He's just going to take Sam Mills, light him out, and allow Heyward to hit the hole. Steps does a nice job, creates a good lane.
9 carries, 65 yards for Heyward. He's approaching his season's high already, which was 87 yards. George, another quick set. What a catch by Rison. Right on the fingertips. Great grab.
They said they wanted to get him the football some more. When I had a chance to visit with him, he said, I'm going to be a bigger part of this offense. What a play. I mean, he really is is as good as there is. Watch this. Does a nice job. 3 steps, fingertip. Catch the back half of the ball. Oh, you can catch every part of it. He does a great job on that reception.
First down for the Falcons. Clock running. George has hit 6 straight passes. Got it at the 1. Terrence Mathis makes his first catch, a big one. He beat Tyrone Hughes.
What a catch and what a throw. This is, I believe, the toughest catch for a receiver. Coming back over the opposite shoulder where you've got to look all the way back. And George knows he's going right away. Just sets and flicks the ball. Now look, no ears on it. Just turn it over. Watch the reception. What a great job of controlling the ball and keeping your feet in. Look at this adjustment. 1-2. Great catch.
First and goal from a foot away. And Jeff George will call a timeout. Only 2 seconds left on the play clock. Didn't want to lose the 5 yards. 7:10 to go in the half. Falcons at the door.
You jerk. I never want to see you again. Oh!
Savan, soft 100% cotton pants. They're the only pants made with Process 2000. So they don't wrinkle, which means you'll always come off looking good. No matter what you've done.
They speak it in England, France, and Germany. It sounds the same in the U.S. and Mexico as it does in Hong Kong and Tokyo. It's the international language of business. And wherever it's spoken, Delta Airlines can put you right in the middle of the conversation. And then we'll bring you back to that place where you don't have to say a word to be understood. Delta Airlines.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you. It's a Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. No matter what you drive, their ASC certified technicians are here when you need them, day or night, even on Sunday. For Rebestus brakes, TRW rack and pinion repair, diagnostic tune-ups, even air conditioning. For dealer quality service at prices you can afford, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Where's the only place to find out who made the NFL Pro Bowl teams? ESPN. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Joe Theismann host the Pro Bowl Selection Show Thursday at 7:30, only on ESPN.
10-7 Saints, but it's first and goal.
Mike, and it's a tough place for the Saints to be first and goal because the Falcons will come out in their 4 wides. That means you need defensive backs in there. If I was them, I'd give the ball to Ironhead, let him go one-on-one with the field now, Sam Mills, and I think Ironhead wins that matchup.
George to throw. Rison, touchdown.
But of course, when you got Andre Rison, throw the ball. Oh, they work on this play. This play's called a stop fade. What it is, when you come up and try and press the wide receivers, you see how he's being pressed by Vince Clark? Now he starts out, that's the fade, that's the stop part. As long as Vinnie Clark is not looking back at Jeff George, the defensive back has no chance whatsoever because Jeff George throws it to the back right shoulder.
Norm Johnson for the point after. Through again, and the Falcons with another nice drive have regained the lead. 14-10 over the Saints.
At Peterson's, we back our slogan with everyday low prices and professional service.
We'll do almost anything to make you satisfied. We'll do almost anything.
The all-new redesigned 95 Toyota Tercel. The lowest priced Toyota sedan is priced so low at Peterson's, you'll know why we say...
We'll do almost anything.
The average commercial break can last up to 4 minutes. Just thought you'd like to know. Ice cold milk. Help yourself.
Let's go out to the kitchen. Let's go out to the kitchen. Let's go out to the kitchen and have ourselves a snack.
Ice cold milk. Help yourself.
Jack in the Box and Paramount Pictures team up to give you a free Star Trek Generations Movie Collector's Cup when you Galaxy-size any of our Supreme Value combos for just 39 cents more.
Engage! Let's go!
It's a stellar deal from Jack in the Box.
You know what I want? Tacos. Yeah. But not those teeny tacos. They gotta be big ones.
Jack in the Box introduces the Monster Taco Deal. 3 delicious Monster Tacos for just $1.99.
Now this, I want.
Falcons lead it by 4. Let's check in with Mark Malone.
Thanks, Mike. We talked a little bit about Roaf's feet in our last segment. Things haven't changed much, but I want to show you something. He has just dominated so far against Chris Dolman. Take a look at the run first. Gets outside, hooks Dolman, and then puts him on his back. But watch the feet. The hardest thing to teach a tackle. Look at this. It looks like a ballet dancer, and Chris Dolman has to think he's got a shadow on the field. It's just unbelievable. This is a 310-pound man. It's just beautiful to watch, Mike.
Beautiful is the word I was thinking of, Mark. That is just an exceptional picture from an exceptional tackle who is a very intelligent, nice young man who's got some future.
300 pounds of beauty.
Don't say that very often, do we?
No.
Tyrone Hughes from the 8. Has the seam. Hughes to the 45-yard line, but there's the flag down back at the 28. And it will come back. Let's go back to Mark.
And Mike, we said that William Roaf was dominating. Take a look at some of these numbers. They run 18 plays. Roaf has got no help. The guy he has blocked has not made a tackle, has not pressured the quarterback, does not have a sack, and no quarterback hits. And he's not playing against a stiff. Hey, Joe, you think if we got 5 William Roafs lined up in front of us, we could make a comeback?
Mark, you and I got a chance if it happens.
Tell you what, you're almost a victim of your own success if you're a great player like that. You never get any help from a tight end. They never use it back to help you. They just say, here you go, big guy, he's all yours.
But it allows an offense to do so much in the passing game in particular.
See if the Saints can respond. They start from their own 18. Play action to Bates. Everett unloads. Nice throw sideline. Quinn Early stepped out of bounds. Got a first down at the 35-yard line. Gain of 17.
Nice delivery by Jim Everett. Of course, you got to have time. When you're throwing left as a right-handed quarterback, your left tackle's got to be tough and strong. Dolman decides he wants to try and bull rush. Roaf won't let him. He allows Everett to step up. Look at the room he has to step up and make this throw. Perfect. Only way to describe the whole thing. The blocking, the throw, the catch, perfect.
Bates. Irv Smith threw him a pretty good block. He got out to the 39-yard line and hammered by several Falcons. Jesse Tuggle, as always, was there. Mario Bates had his jaw broken, had it wired for 4 weeks, lost 12, 15 pounds, may end up in court, and his teammate is the man who broke his jaw in a disagreement. Lorenzo Neal, and they may end up in court because Bates would be short of a couple of $100,000 in incentives because he was out for that long. Everett, great pass to Torrance Small. Just got it over the outstretched fingertips of Darnell Walker.
Mike, I've watched Jim Everett for a lot of years. He's in his 9th season, but I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever seen him throw the ball with such fine touch and accuracy as he's started to do here for the Saints. Watch this. Gets the hip around perfect, and look at the ball. It's up over the backer, or the defensive back in this case, and drops down into Small's hands. Toughest throw to make as a quarterback.
Michael Haynes says he has gotten better every week. 148-yard passing first half. Lorenzo Neal, the single setback. And he'll get the carry. Excuse me, that's Derek Brown.
Number 21, Derek Brown, the ball carrier.
Interesting combination of backs for the Saints. Mario Bates, 217 pounds, 6'1", big guy, runs very fluid, not that quick as far as in the hole goes. Then you bring in a Derek Brown, who's only at 200, but 5'10". I guess you'd deem him a little bit more nifty, a little quicker to the outside. Nice change of pace.
Spot the ball at the Falcon 43-yard line. Clock running, 4:56 to go in the half. Brown, little running room, and got down to about the 38-yard line. Dombrowski and Case pushing and shoving after the play.
QB's having a pretty good night. Jeff George, Jim Everett. Everett only 6 for 10, but for 148 yards, and Jeff George 11 of 17 for 110.
That's not bad in the first half. Bates checks back in. First and 10 Saints. Four-man rush. And Everett throws this one away, intended for Quinn Early. Good coverage by DJ Johnson.
Good job by the secondary of the Falcons. Anticipating a deeper route, they all went back into coverage and forced Jim to throw it away. See that visor DJ Johnson is wearing? Interesting. About 4 years ago against Bernie Kosar, when DJ was playing in Pittsburgh, he noticed Bernie picked up his eyes. So what he did is he went to a visor to make sure that quarterbacks couldn't read his eyes so that he could watch the wide receiver and the quarterback. Sneaky, these guys. Sneaky.
Brown back in. Everett the screen to Brown. Dombrowski in front and Brown down to the 15-yard line. Scott Case had to make the tackle.
Brown did a good job of avoiding Chris Dolman, who was the only guy out in front of him. Once he got by him, he had friends in front.
First time Everett has thrown to a running back tonight. All the other completions went to a wide receiver.
Jim Mora's team trying to pound it in this what's become a track meet in the second quarter.
And Mora said he is still very optimistic about this team. They got a lot of youth now, a lot of new players. He said they have practiced hard and played hard. Everett, that one's tipped. Scott Case got a fingertip on it, and it was up for grabs. Fortunately for New Orleans, it fell incomplete.
Scott Case.
Left side of your screen, number 25. See Scott Case come into it. He's just watching Jim Everett all the way, and then he reads his eyes and manages to tip the ball at the last minute. See Case come in. He's just focusing totally on Everett. As soon as the block back, Everett was his focus.
Second and 10. A little movement up front. Here's Brown. Ran out of a tackle and got down to the 20-yard line.
Derek
Walker came up to make the tackle.
Tackle led by number 45, Darnell Walker.
Defense for these clubs virtually non-existent. Only the Washington Redskins have given up more points per game. It's been particularly a disappointment for the Falcons, who thought they would be better this year. Here comes the blitz. Everett unloads, got the completion. Herb Smith out of Notre Dame.
Now here's an interesting decision for Jim Mora. Do you want to take the three? Because it's going to be about a football short. So he's going to wind up with 4th down. Jim Everett was saying, we started working on blitz pickup early. You'll notice how he has time to step up, but he's going to come up short, and it's going to be 4th down for the New Orleans Saints. The question is, what does Jim Mora want to do? At 5 and 8, you know what I do? I go for it.
And you were right, Bright Eyes, just football short.
And I'll tell you what else. I look at the clock and I say, oh, there's 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go. I don't have to make my decision now. I'll think about it a little bit longer.
Because they'll restart the clock as soon as they put the chains back at the sideline.
And I would not run this play before the 2-minute warning expires. If I was Jim Everett, I'd just stay on the sidelines. So save myself a walk all the way back.
Of course, you realize you would be giving up a virtual guarantee of 3 points from Morton Anderson.
Carl Smith with the curly hair and the hat. Signaling, talking to him.
And the Saints are not going to bother to run the play. They will let it come down to the 2-minute warning. Our score, the Falcons 14, the Saints 10. Back with the final 2 minutes of the half after this.
Can you tell which man is at home and which is in a Residence Inn hotel room?
Honey, can you take out the garbage?
That was a hint. Residence Inn by Marriott, the next best thing to home.
Still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
That's a porcupine fish. Whoa!
Programs like Dangerous Creatures make a splash with a Pentium processor inside your PC.
What's a piranha? You don't want to know.
The Intel Pentium processor.
Here's the layout. I like it.
ProShare Video puts you in touch fast with a Pentium processor inside your PC.
Working at home must be great. Yeah.
The Intel Pentium processor.
2 minutes to go in the half. The Falcons faced with 4th and inches, or the Saints rather. They will go for it. Coming up at halftime, the highlights of all the games, the NFL playoff picture. That ought to be fun to figure out. And the Browns and Steelers, a preview of that big game in the AFC. Well, Jim Mora was thinking along the same lines you were, and he will go for it.
I think it's a good call. I think he's, you know, if I'm him, I'm William Roaf, number 77, Jim Dombrowski, number 72. My left tackle and my left guard. That's where I run over.
They're in the eye. Bates is the deep man, Neal the up back. And that's exactly where they're going, and Bates has the first down.
He put the ball on the ground.
Falcons saying they have the ball. No signal from the official.
Big stick by a defensive back coming up. Number 36, Kevin Ross, knocks the ball loose. The ball's in somebody's hands.
The Falcons insisting they have it. We still have not seen an official signal. And that would seem to indicate New Orleans has it.
They're bringing out the chains. Well, they don't need to bring out the chains. It's a first down. All they had to do was cross the line. I can tell you that.
And if you're a lip reader, you can say June Jones said that's a fumble.
They go behind William Roaf. Now, the ball's out right there. It's on the ground. It's out. Question is, who's got it? Your guess is as good as mine in a pileup. What a great job by Kevin Ross, number 36. He's the one that knocks it out.
And was recovered by the offensive team. We're going to measure for the first down.
Dwayne Gordon got it loose initially. Bates had it on his hip, and then Ross blasted him. So now they'll bring in the chains. He had the first down if he had been able to hold on to the ball, but when it bounced back, it puts it in jeopardy.
But I believe if inside of 2 minutes, he has to be the one to recover it to be advanced.
Only if it's advanced. It went backwards. Because he was down near the 19-yard line with his body.
Coach Moore on the left, relieved. Coach Jones on the right, concerned.
Falcons lead it 14-10. And the Saints have all 3 timeouts left, so they have plenty of time. Throws short, complete to Haynes. Pick up about 3. Wrapped up by Ross and Ken Tippins.
Carl Smith on the right, the offensive coordinator. Jim Moore on the left without the hat. Down here, they love to work the tight ends. Irv Smith has 3 touchdown catches. Wesley Walls, who's got a separated shoulder, not playing, has 4. So if they're going to go somewhere, they like to go to the big guys down inside.
Here comes the blitz. Everett for the end zone. Haynes can't get there. D.J. Johnson with outstanding coverage. Rod Woodson said in Pittsburgh, we never thought of him as a second-rate defensive back, but he played in the shadow here. Now he will get his due.
You know what he brings to this football team besides the 5 interceptions? He brings a winning attitude to the Atlanta Falcons that they have not had. This group of players doesn't know what it takes to win yet. He and Kevin Ross are both trying to help instill that.
3rd and 8. Everett flushed out of the pocket. Throws out of the end zone. And Everett was very close to going across the line of scrimmage, and there is a flag down.
What a great job by Jesse Tuggle, though, on the run. Everett either had a chance to run in or pull up and make the throw, but he does a great job of pursuing him.
I think he crossed the line.
I think you're right.
He did.
Jesse Tuggle in great pursuit. They put some good pressure, just the 4 guys. Chucky Smith does a great job again. Everett has to step inside. Now he tries to slide the line, and Jesse just keeps on working.
As a matter of fact, he was a full 1.5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
If you're the defense of the Atlanta Falcons, you got to consider holding them to a field goal attempt as a win at this point.
Absolutely, and Morton Anderson will come on to try his 2nd field goal and would cut the lead to 1. And seeing his defense make a lot of good stands is not something that's happened to June Jones this year. But he has seen a lot of Jesse Tuggle, who has made great play after great play each game.
Number 7, cross the line of scrimmage to the pass forward. The pass is incomplete. It's a 5-yard penalty and loss of down.
Jim Bates, the new defensive coordinator of the Falcons, wanted to instill a 4-2-5 defense, which is really nothing more than a 4-3. He just renamed it. Now they've gone back to a more aggressive style with their defensive linemen, and it's helped both Chris Dolman and Chucky Smith become more effective.
Officially, this will be a 32-yard attempt from Morton Anderson. And he's good again. 2 for 2, 19 of 27 for the year. And the 6-time Pro Bowler has cut the lead to 1.
All right, you know what I do on this play? The kickoff. I tell my return man, get what you can, but work towards the sidelines. I want to save some time on the clock. If the Falcons can get the ball and Jeff George can get the ball in his hands with about 32 seconds to go and 2 timeouts, they should be able to run comfortably 5 plays. And that's Frank Gantz, the special teams coach, giving him instructions. The important thing now is time, not necessarily yardage. Let Jeff George get the yardage. We'll take care of the time for you. Get yourself in a position to try and have a shot at a field goal. That's what the thinking should be for the Falcons at this point.
Gantz not only the special teams coach, but the assistant head coach. And Joe Marciano, tight ends and special teams for the New Orleans Saints.
The worst thing that could happen for the Saints here is to try and kick away to one side or the other, have the ball go out of bounds, and give it to the Saints or the Falcons with no time expired off the clock on the 40-yard line.
You remember in the preseason when the Saints told us they were concerned about their kickoffs this year? Because if you charted Morton Anderson, he almost always kicks the ball in the same spot on the field. Yep. But it hasn't hurt him all that much, I don't think.
At least the guys know where to go, and that's a guy who can get there. J.J. McCluskey. Talked to Joe Marciano at the end of the preseason. They had to cut him. Last cut.
And they didn't like it.
He said, I lost my best special teams player. They got him back. Those are the two guys that he's going to be chasing.
Verdun and Pegram. We have 39 seconds to go in the first half in a 14-13 game. Anderson put his last kickoff near the goal line. This one's much shorter. Verdun from the 14. Verdun. Jimmy Spencer made the tackle as he got out near the 30-yard line.
Tackle by number 37.
J.J. McCluskey, number 44, has earned the respect of his coaches and teammates on special teams. There he is. He looks up to find the ball. Knows where it is, checks out the blocking, wants to see who's coming after him, avoids one. Now he's got CNN in view, gets knocked down, but he doesn't stop. He's still going. He hurdles one of his own guys, runs around a pile, still working, and then just about gets there to help out.
He's 5'7", 177 pounds. You got to have a lot of courage to be out there on special teams. George with plenty of time in the middle of the pocket to rise it. Look at the move, trying to get extra yard, dives to the 40.
That's 10 seconds right there. That play took 10 seconds. I think what Jeff's going to want to do when he goes back in the huddle, he'll tell Andre or anybody else, when you catch it, get down quick. Don't try and dance. Risen doing a good job. All he's doing is looking for the soft spot in the zone. Just going to hook in the belly of the zone. Now, right there, he could have gone down. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. But, of course, you can't throw unless you got protection. Number 78, Mike Penn on Ronaldo Turnbull. Giving Jeff George all the time in the world.
Art Shell said watching Mike Ken is like watching a living textbook, that he has such brilliant technique as a tackle. Ken will call it quits at the end of this year, and he said there's no way I unretire. I don't care what's happening. When I make the decision, it's over.
He's going to run his restaurants, and he's going to go down and lay in the sun. That's what he told me he's going to do.
I like the second part. 20 seconds to go in the half. Falcons with one timeout left. Mathis gets out of bounds. There's a flag on this one, and Mike Ken, who we just praised so much, is going to be called for a hold on Turnbull, and now we've got Mathis and Vinnie Clark tied up on the sideline.
Of course, 2 weeks ago, around Thanksgiving time, Vinnie Clark was wearing a Atlanta Falcon uniform.
Turnbull beat Ken that time, and the 17-year veteran just hauled him down.
Holding, 78 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Mike Ken doing the best he can. Ronaldo gives him a little fake inside. Ken tries to go out and then just grabs him and pulls him down.
Still got strong hands, though, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
They'll need to pick up about 25 yards to have a 50-yard field goal attempt from here.
Jeff George signaled to the sideline. He had the play he wants. He's got to throw this thing down the field 35, 40 yards for a shot at a field goal.
And only 14 seconds on the clock.
Timeout, New Orleans.
And the Saints have used a timeout to talk about what they want to do defensively.
Falcon fans, be sure to keep your eyes on the
Jeff George
Falcons
another chance to come over and talk about the offense.
A&P Food Market will drop $5 long-distance calling cards.
Vinnie Clark started the first 11 for this ball club. They wanted to get some other people involved on defense, did the Atlanta Falcons, and told them they wanted Vinnie Clark to stay on the team and be a backup. And he came in and said to June Jones, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to react real well to being a backup player. And that's when June Jones decided the only choice he had was to let him go. The Saints have been thrilled. Jim Morris said that this has really upgraded our secondary. Vinnie Clark can really play.
Well, Eric Jack was the guy they wanted him to play and split time with. He couldn't handle it. And heck, Steve Sidwell basically said he's our best defensive back, so they're just thrilled to have him.
And he's a free agent. They want to re-sign him at the end of the year. George with time in the pocket, throws short. Sanders gets out of bounds to the 47-yard line. 8 seconds to go on the clock. Still not in field goal range.
Mike, I think the Saints gave up too much ground there. They allowed Sanders to catch the ball at 8 yards, but yet run darn near an additional 8 yards to allow them to have an opportunity to complete a pass and use their last time out. Very important that if a receiver catches the ball in the middle, he falls down, gives himself up, and signals to the official right away, timeout.
You're going to need about 8 yards to get him a 52-yard field goal attempt. George using up a lot of time on the scramble. He's going to have to go deeper. It won't matter. Throws the ball out of bounds. There was 1 second on the clock when it was signaled incomplete. Let's see if they rule the time had run out. There's also a flag now.
Yeah, he crossed the line of scrimmage.
We have an illegal forward pass by number 1 of the offensive team. By rule, the half is over.
Well, that settles that. 1 for each quarterback. That's the end of the first half. Our score, the Falcons 14, the Saints 13. Now let's join Chris Berman for the accurate halftime report.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So let's see. The teams played a 1-point game earlier this year. It's a 1-point game now. 46-46 between the Saints and Falcons. After 6 quarters, let me go out on a limb and say these two teams are pretty evenly matched. We'll be back in the second half in a moment. Nobody's matched with the winners of the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers, looking for their 9th straight win against the leaders in the AFC West, the San Diego Chargers, at the Murph. Here we go. Action in Week 15. Steve Young, Brent Jones looking for the one. Yee! Touchdown. Jerry Rice caught 12 balls. And oh, yes, there's this Sanders guy. Deion Sanders, 90-yard interception return. Niners roll the Chargers 38-15. Broncos and Raiders each at 7-6, but no John Elway despite warming up. It's Hugh Millen instead. Jeff Hostet will look brilliant Monday night. Today, the Haas found Rocket Ishmael. And look at the Rocket look skyward and saying, hey, from a 1-3 start, we might make the playoffs. 5 Jeff Mick Jager field goals. Haas to Harvey Williams for a touchdown. 23-13. Raiders have beaten the Broncos 11 of the last 12. Vikings, but there's my uncle at Rich Stadium, hoping the Bills can keep on going. But Warren Moon was 0-5 in the stadium to Qadri Ismail. It's a big day for the Ismail family. Set up a go-ahead touchdown. 21-17 late. Jim Kelly, sprained knee, hit by John Randall. Bills comeback ball short. Vikings win 21-17. Cheesehead Santa? I guess so. At the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Certainly wasn't frozen. The Green Bay offense. Favre to Sharp once. And Brett Favre likes him so much he threw him again. 9 touchdowns for this combination in the last 4 games. The difference, though, the Packers won this one emphatically over the Bears, 40-3. Eagles, Steelers, Battle of Pennsylvania. Can Bubby come out and play for the Eagles in his former home in Pittsburgh? 3-0 game to the 4th quarter. But after Pittsburgh's score, Randall Cunningham picked up by Darren Perry. Randall threw for only 59 yards. The Steelers held the Eagles to only 105 yards. John L. Williams had 94. Steelers win again. They won 6 in a row, 14-3. Bengals, Giants, it was an association game because everyone knows it was windy. Final minutes, tied at 20. Dave Brown to Mike Gerard. Oh, they call a pass interference on Corey Sawyer. David Shula. What did you think of the call? That sets up Rodney Hampton. Touchdown blast under a minute. G-Man won 4 in a row, 27-20. Colts and the Patriots. Bill Parcells, calm down, Drew. Bledsoe was picked off 4 times, including this one by Ray Buchanan. He eventually took it 90 yards for a touchdown. Colts led at 10-0, but the Patriots come back. Bledsoe to Ben Winter Coates. Patriots score the last 4 touchdowns, win at 28-13. Norv Turner stays with Heath Schuler. Picked off 5 times earlier this year by the Arizona Cardinals. Skins down 14-6. Schuler, Henry Ellard, spin, move, see ya! 52 yards, and the Skins are thinking upset. They lead 15-14 until final seconds. Greg Davis, last play, good. Cards in the playoff hunt. They win it 17-15. Rick Meyer out for the rest of the season at the Seahawks for quarterback. Dan McGuire started. Chris Warren, that horrible car accident 10 days ago. Warren, 185 yards. The Seahawks outlast the Oilers 16-14. Now we go to the big sombrero. The resurgent Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not won 3 in a row since the last time they made the playoffs in 1982. But Sam Weiss had Craig Erickson twice go long to Charles Wilson. That's right, Charles Wilson. The Bucs win again over the Rams, 24-14.
This halftime report is presented by Acura. Some things are worth the price.
When we return, Tom Jackson will join me. We'll preview that Steelers-Browns game coming up next Sunday at Three Rivers. And we'll look at the playoff picture. Plenty coming still at halftime. Stick around, please.
Most people will never see the art you display, the antiques you collect, the things in your home you care about. Which leaves only one possession that reflects your sense of style to the world. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
The throw pass. The distance it is. No good. Out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Michael Harris.
Halftime, the Falcons lead the Saints 14-13. My man, Tom Jackson, is with me. And Tommy, Jim Kelly, sprained left knee ligament. X-ray shows no break in the knee, which isn't surprising, but they'll know more tomorrow on an MRI. Jim didn't want to talk about it afterwards because disappointed, A, he's hurt, B, the Bills have fallen to 7-7 a week after that great performance. If the Bills are football's Rasputin, that you can't kill him, as we've said, then they may be down to their last cyanide pill, Tommy. They host the Patriots next week.
Well, I think the Buffalo Bills now have to think about, as they finish off this year, restocking his football club. That doesn't mean making wholesale changes, but it's going to be a very difficult task for Coach Marv Levy. He's gotten close to these players over the years. They dedicated themselves to him. They went to 4 Super Bowls. It's going to be difficult for him to let some of those players go.
Now, the key is to rebuild like San Francisco did.
That's
maybe
right.
not get to the Super Bowl, but not really fall out of the hunt.
That's right.
And not fall to where, like, the Washington Redskins are now and really starting from scratch. Well, speaking of the 49ers, we knew going into the weekend that the Niners were one of 3 teams that had already clinched the playoff berth, and the Niners now continue to roll. They have won 9 in a row as we look at the NFC playoff picture. And the division leaders, the Niners really have already won the West. All they need to do is win next Saturday against Denver, and they'll be home through the NFC playoffs. Dallas has won the East. Minnesota now back on top by a game in the North division. Tommy, San Francisco's won 9 in a row. Can they continue this roll for another month and a half?
Well, in order to go to and win the Super Bowl, you're talking about 14 football games. Most teams could not go on a run that long. But the team that I visited this week, outstanding quarterbacking, outstanding defense, the best receiver in all of football, yeah, they can win 14 games.
Seems like a long time ago they were 3-2.
That's right.
And they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles 40-8. Speaking of the Eagles, they've fallen way down the picture, and the rest of the NFC in the chase for the wild card. You know, you could have 4 teams from the Central, the winner, and then Detroit, Chicago, and then the Packers at 7-7 head that list. And, of course, Atlanta hopes to be on that 7-7 list as well. The Giants and Eagles play next week at the Vet, so that might take care of one of them. And there's Arizona hanging around. So 3 of these teams will make it. Your guess is as good as ours. In the AFC, Pittsburgh, of course, has clinched at least a playoff berth at 11-3. San Diego had not wrapped up the West yet. They only lead by 1. Miami, if they lose, will be tied by the Patriots in the standings at 8-6. But if they win, they'll maintain a 1-game lead. Wild card picture, Cleveland at least is in. Pittsburgh owns tiebreakers over Cleveland as well next week, but they meet, and we'll preview that in a moment. The Raiders and New England are lurking, and they could win their division. Chiefs play Monday night. Buffalo and Denver, now with losses today, fall to 7-7. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 6 in a row. The last time they were 11-3 was 1979, which, oh, by the way, was the last time they got to the Super Bowl and, of course, won their 4th Super Bowl ring. They host Cleveland in a late start next week, Tommy. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers allowed 105 yards today. They got 3 more sacks, makes it 53 in the season, 30 during the 6-game winning streak. 10 of the 11 starters have sacks. These sacks come from all over. It's tough for anybody, including the Browns, to defend them.
Yeah, you see Deion Figures here coming from the cornerback position. Then you see Chad Brown from the linebacker position. You see the free safety Darren Perry coming up, making a big hit. This team hits you from all angles. When you talk about the Cleveland Browns, I think you saw them at their best against the Dallas Cowboys, running the ball in between the tackles. And how often have we seen that against the Cowboys in the course of the last 2-3 years?
You were not surprised that the Browns maybe beat the Cowboys, but hung with them. You say they're built for a certain type of offense. Are they built to maybe beat the Steelers?
Well, you're talking about one of the better centers in the league, and Steve Everett, Doug Dawson at the guard, Orlando Brown. But the guy who draws your attention is Tony Jones at the left tackle spot. You think about Saturday's game and how often you actually heard the name Charles Haley putting pressure on Vinny Testaverde. Not as often as you usually do.
2 teams flying in the AFC, Raiders and New England. They're coming.
Well, the thing I like about the Raiders is the fact that they have a quarterback who can press the defense. Jeff Hostetler wreaks havoc on you as he runs down the field and buys extra time for his wide receivers. And then you get the coaching of Bill Parcells down the stretch, a guy who has a certain expertise in December at winning football games and bringing his team to peak.
They've won 5 in a row. They haven't done that since '86, last time they made the playoffs. Parcells, can he take the Bills out of the playoffs next week? Or do the Bills say, hey, if we're going out, you're coming with us? 14-13 Falcons at the half.
And now for the weather. Be prepared for snow. Winter is coming, so now's the time to pick up a cool deal on a truck or sport utility at Tom Scott Motors. You get power, payload, and peace of mind. From the Mazda B2300 4x2 to the GMC Sierra 4x4 Club Coupe, Tom Scott has the truck you want the way you want it. And when it comes to sport utilities, get an Oldsmobile Bravada or Mazda Navajo at a price you just can't pass up. So get the jump on Old Man Winter and head on over to Tom Scott Motors, off I-84 exit 36 Nampa.
Okay, nice talking to you. Hi. I'm calling all my friends. See, I've been playing Gabby Cash from the Idaho Lottery. You can win $5,000 or up to an hour of free long-distance calling time. Your ticket instantly becomes a calling card. Long distance? Give me Beijing.
Gabby Cash from the Idaho Lottery. Win $5,000 or up to an hour of long-distance phone time from Talk and Toss.
I want an order of egg rolls. I want some chow mein.
Take a look at the all-new Ford Windstar and discover all kinds of advantages over Dodge Grand Caravan, like more passenger and cargo room. Advantage Windstar. Free 24-hour roadside assistance. Advantage Windstar. Standard safety features that already meet 1998 guidelines, including dual airbags, 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, and 5-mile-per-hour bumpers. Advantage Windstar. But don't just take our word for it. Take a test drive and see for yourself. Ford gives you every advantage. Windstar. The future of minivans is here today at your local Ford dealer.
Won't you be part of the watch program? Watch the Raiders and the Seahawks.